No, this not a feeling, bitch, I knew. Entering the dragon got me feeling like I'm Bruce. Got a couple birdies with that feeling to get loose. Duh, but I'm never feeling like a goose. Pilotman, that nigga, he be chillin' and he flew. Bitch, I'm in the building like a Jew. Flight boss, bitch, yeah, I'm golly in the spirit. Doing mental gymnastics, my karate, esoteric, yeah. When I be on Jupiter, I'm sitting like I'm Zeus. Yeah, I got the blues, cause your bitch ain't got a clue. Toxic asshole, yeah, she tryna steal my whip. Every retrograde remind me that she still ain't shit. Yeah, what's the deal? If it ain't a pickle, she don't give a motherfucker about it. Yeah, I got in and got the fuck about it. She talking about her problems, I don't give a fuck about it. Yeah. Where's your damn mama? That generational curse with the ass grandmama with that damn drama. Stop listening to them bitches on a mission just to lose. Fuck with me, honey, you'll be winning with no clue. Yeah. No, this not a feeling, bitch, I knew. Entering the dragon got me feeling like I'm Bruce. Got a couple birdies with that feeling to get loose. Duh, but I'm never feeling like a goose. Pilotman, that nigga, he be chillin' and he flew. Bitch, I'm in the building like a Jew. Flight boss, bitch, yeah, I'm golly in the spirit. Doing mental gymnastics, my karate, esoteric, yeah.
Why are you lost? Why are you lost? What do you follow? You ever feel that's how you know her plus it's so hollow. You dumb as a doorknob, you a dub, I ain't fucking with Donald. Your mama feel like you should've been a little nip that you swallowed, yeah. Pilotman, he was up at Harlem like I done an Apollo, yeah. Don't give a fly, fuck up, but I hear me off cause I'm the model, yeah.
That they use to confuse everybody just to confuse themselves. The cars I would usually dealt, shit was confused as well. Shit was telling cars got me scared of y'all, so I just move like males. It was slow and move like snails, but still when I argue tooth and nail. I can bet that you in hell, mine right there, bees your tail. Yeah, I'm a archangel, don't never ever fuck with Jerry L. Yeah, no, this not a feeling, bitch, I knew. Entering the dragon got me feeling like I'm Bruce. Got a couple birdies with that feeling to get loose. Duh, but I'm never feeling like a goose. Pilotman, that nigga, he be chillin' and he flew. Bitch, I'm in the building like a Jew. Flight boss, bitch, yeah, I'm golly in the spirit. Doing mental gymnastics, my karate, esoteric, yeah. I'm exploding napalm. Get your ass beat by an R&B singer like a Trey song. Yeah, no DJ Khaled, we the best. Fuck the motherfucking bugs. Rest in peace, DMX, yeah.
New age, Wild Wild West. Can you do kung fu in the mind? Can you do kung fu in the mind? Or can you go to war in the mind? Can you know how to put things together, make this sword, make this napalm, make this explosive? I'm saying. Y'all ain't know Dr. J had like 10 other people in the studio helping him with that beat. Y'all ain't know, y'all be thinking Dr. J be making all the beats himself. Cats be getting help. That's why I take all day. You need 50 other recommendations and all these other people and stuff like that. And you never hear the song. Never hear it. Guess what? Because it got something to do with input devices. Anytime you take something from the out and put it in, it exclude it from the out. So spiritually, you're in the out. Mentally, you're first in, your first body. Your body made, your mind made your body. So the mind mimicked the spirit, your soul. And then the mind made the body. So what do the body mimic? The mind. So then you made a second layer. You condensed your mind and made an organ. I like to juice this up. So now you did the natural mechanics, the natural oils, the natural neurons, the nuance, the mentality to the neurons, building the organ, right? Then the body be making external things, right? And put it into that. Hey, let me put my body in a wigwam, in a longhouse, in a plank house. And you know what I'm saying? Let me put it in a building that look like Queen Elizabeth, Corinthian pillar, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. Then we over exaggerate and do the same process, but then we might get lost with mind things we make up and be like, hey, this is different than what we doing with this, that we came up with the mind to do the physical house in the first place. Hey, maybe we could think of a house and then put our mind in it, and then it become a cult, then it become a different, you know what I'm saying? But these is like the same thing. Like, don't separate these. I don't want y'all to separate. When you're going in, you're putting something in something. So whatever created the concept of in, no one outside of it will be able to understand it. So if it's a common spiritual root race, y'all share organs, right? You gonna make a container that, yeah, another human can understand. An ant ain't gonna be able to understand it though, that device. A bear ain't gonna be able to understand that device. Guess what we got naturally as devices? Physical reciprocation and response. Guess what we all could do as a general language? You know, everybody want to eat fucking sleep. You know, if you put some breadcrumbs in the grass, little old birdies, old Chief Black Hawk come down. You know what I'm saying? Chief Little Turtle come down. You know what I'm saying? Half King come down. You know, WURLDIAH come down. You know what I'm saying? They start eating and stuff like, you know, that was some natural way of communicating. We ain't need no device. Bread don't grow in nature. So I maybe should have said some seeds, nuts, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But the people like bread too after a while. Ain't nothing else to eat. Bird can't find nothing. Took everything from our lands. Took everything from the eagle. I say that for the most part. Look, but check it out. Boom. That's a natural way of communicating. An ant could get down with that. You ain't have to squash it with your big, squash it like a jelly bean. You ain't have to be like LL Cool J, be like this foreigner, the best rapper over here on the Lenny Lenape Hoken land. You know what I'm saying? You could think in your mind like, wait a minute, there was something I could have did that the ant could have knew that communication, and it's something that an ant do. I know that communication. I see it all the time. I see bees go get the nectar. It's the only way me being a human can make $1 million off honey and shit, like make cartoons. You know what I'm saying? Papa bears. So we gotta think, like, we gotta really think. If the highest form of communication is going out, because you know what I'm saying? First, we create everything to get in. We don't forget where you out at. So first, you got to get out your body and get out your secluded mind. Now you can have different forms of technology and communication, and they can only play in that lens. You can't create no device only if some other monkey who got the type of organs you got to understand. Just like if a monkey make a device right now, who said monkeys ain't? You ain't gonna be able to understand it. You over exaggerated about the cage you put them in. You don't know about the things would make them feel good waking up every day. And you being a human, you know you wouldn't feel good every day waking up in a cage. I seen people in prison. I know people in jail. You know what I'm saying? So I know what, I see how to compartmentalize whatever. When you're in something, there's no such thing as communicating with the out. You in jail, you need to wait till your phone calls. You lost in your mind, you can't see a better perspective or a route to go based upon your circumstantial situation. You create technology, that thought, you put it in that technology. That is not nothing outside of it will be able to, know what I'm saying? We got to start thinking for real. For my tax dollars start getting used and I start getting hated on more than I'm supposed to and shit. You know what I'm saying? Punch everybody in the spiritual nuts. Punch everybody in the spiritual nuts. You know what I'm saying? So we got a peep game where we really talking about what's worth putting our money behind and better starting points. So we even come up with cures, not even physical ones, mental cures. We don't be mentally ill for about 2,000 years and stuff like that. Having all them weird arguments. So peep game, you know what I'm saying? So when you think about input, there is no such thing as communicating with the out with any form of device or input, because you're putting something in a container, and a container is only suitable for whoever engineered it. So if an ant made some input quality device, only an ant can understand it. Another bug that could sting another bug and make them all delirious, like, finish him. You know what I'm saying? All this type of energy, get dizzy and stuff like that. You don't know how to make that. You ain't got the kind of organ and know what you're going through to have that type of natural reaction and response to something in another spiritual root race with an organ, like how you see bugs be able to do that, and antennas and stuff like. So for the most part, don't get too lost in your form of intelligence that's back to supported by you just want to be degenerate. A lot of times it be to that. It don't be having nothing to do with our natural qualities. Eat, fucking, and sleep. You know what I'm saying? It be having something to do with how can I destroy these qualities. No, you hate yourself in some way. That ain't got nothing to do with us rising in technology. It got something to do with how can we destroy ourselves in more sneaky ways. That really be it. We gotta make things, a little star man. You know what I'm saying? We gotta make sense out of stuff, because if we don't make sense out of things, we'll be lost and no one have a solution, and real life don't get taken care of. And we need to, like, everybody got to solidify themselves. Everybody need roofs over their head, clothes on their back, food on their table, and be able to support and supply for their kids and their children and things of that nature. Anything beyond that, you're not a man nor a woman, and you oblige you with something based upon other groups of men that ain't men or women or whatever. They just trying to create some convenience, and then y'all call convenience technology, and then now technology make everybody can't remember their grandmother number, even before we had the area code added for 10 digits. You know, you can't even remember the 7-digit number of your grandma. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Stay getting whooped. Stay getting in trouble in school. So yeah. So think about that as a container. Anytime you put something in something, that's a container. So you put your mental form in something, it separates it from any type of outside communication, right? So you can only communicate with outside things once you get out. When you get out of jail, then you communicate with the homies again. When you get out of that retarded ass mind state after you got cheated on, then you go out and go out again and club in a bar or wherever you choose to find your degenerate ass partners at. You know what I'm saying? Or however the case may be. But yeah, that's the only form of, yeah, if I didn't expand out of that thought and go down this chain of thought and line of reasoning, God wouldn't have allowed me to meet this person. God wouldn't allow me to get, all right. That had nothing to do with no device, did it? Except this one. So anytime somebody trying to use playing God energy or whatever the case may be, it can only be through a form of device. That don't have nothing to do with our personal life and what make us think right. You know what I'm saying? So at some point we gotta understand, ain't no form of technology ever reach God. So if there's a curriculum saying, and we built the right technology and grape enough people's tax dollars or something like that, we might could communicate with aliens. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, alien is retarded if they think they're in a world where whatever device that they create, another species around, they're going to understand it. They're going to have to explain whatever they created, whether they put on a tire, whether they just made some open-toe open-toe sandals and shit like that, John Cletos. You know, so they're going to be like, hey, we wear these because we in the summertime most of the time in our area, and they're going to have to teach that technology or whatever to somebody else. Other than that, man, that's going to be in everybody's conversation, whether you're around somebody or not. That make more sense. I ain't got to be around somebody who stay in a whole city, another state, to know they probably hungry. Somebody probably tired right now. Yo, somebody probably fucking right now. I don't gotta be around them. That's more alien knowledge than anything. Anytime a human sitting around saying, no, aliens think this way. No, you got a small dick. I don't think everybody in the galaxy got your problems. Yeah, every alien ain't got a small dick to be sitting around thinking like that. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. I'm just keeping it real. I think we be letting Pee Wee Herman energy be going way too far in society sometimes. I be thinking, like, what is wrong? Is people's starting points off? Or is it being used as a scam? I said, we got to be thinking, though. Like, you got to really think clearly in things. Because when we start to think we can utilize technology to interact with something that may have had that technology first. Any technology y'all using right now, I created that one. And I did that genuine. You want to be a mirror? If you on my page right now, I'm mirroring you. Yeah, you wanna play God right now? If you on my channel, I was on this land before you. So whatever culture you still in and think you is, then you ain't that, and I ain't that what you thought it was. You know what I'm saying? But I'm something better than you is because you ain't got that knowledge. Other than that, what else is gonna be? It ain't really about nothing y'all really got stuff unless you're gonna make up a job. Y'all be making up shit for real. You know what I'm saying? But when you can do something natural, you gotta steal it. Because that'd be it. You gotta steal it. You can't really do it natural and shit. But when we start talking about technology, yeah, that's one thing. But don't think you creating it to find a god or anything like that. No, it's just more convenience. Everybody got forms of technology, bugs, animals, all kind of stuff. But the species, the only people that can understand that technology. You can't come up with no presupposition starting point like a colonist and be like, well, since I came up with this idea, there had to be something in the world that came up with this idea first. You know how many monkeys thought like that too? And stuff like, you know how many alligators, stuff like that. No, you just thought about it. We can't find nobody else in the world doing degenerate shit but you. We can't find nobody else in the world being a pervert but you. You know what I'm saying? Can't find nobody doing things unnatural. But and that just goes for anybody. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? If anybody trying to fit shoe sizes and stuff, you might need to change your life because I ain't making this personal. You know what I said? This goes for any ethnicity or whatever. These thoughts come from specific people and groupings. Oh, they coming from shit. Y'all be just trying to find me somebody walking on water right now. You ain't gonna find no man walking on water. What you is gonna find is a grouping of men and women talking about it and stuff, just lying and shit. That's all you gonna find. You're gonna find groupings. Groupings of lost humans. I fucked with y'all though, for real. Y'all don't know how much I fuck even when y'all do evil stuff, but y'all don't know I'm in a different mind frame though. So it's different. It's different for God's children. Y'all don't get it yet, yeah, but y'all get there soon enough. And y'all be able to like man. When you, it's like look at it like atmospheres, and the way the atmosphere move, that's your body, but that's your mind. But y'all haven't risen to that level to care about that form of body yet, because y'all haven't experienced it. You're just on a smaller scale of it, trying to grow up as a spirit, as an adult, more of an adult spirit to match that frequency vibration size. So you start emanating mentalities in bigger clouds. So you control bigger atmospheres that y'all calling as vibes or collections of emotions and thoughts down here. The more you lack thoughts and feelings, you lack atmosphere. You grasping for life because you come after the fact. When you created a lot of thoughts and feelings, the things in the atmosphere in that geographical location, you already know the ins and out of it, regardless of the language. So it's a natural connection. So this is how I can connect with people beyond if they even speak the language or not. And I'm not talking about English, I'm talking about my language, but even though we can connect with English, Arabs, all these, like I could take y'all to corner stores and how we connect beyond language. You see what I'm saying? So it's another language we're pulling from to make language, body language wise and language wise and stuff like that. And that's the language you have to learn if you're going to communicate with anything. Now I can give you a starting point, right? It's being in sync and being in relatable. So spiritually you're traveling, and that's better water you found. Water that's chaotic is anytime you have a thought and a feeling that's in sync and unrelatable. That means your spiritual travel is going into a negative river. Here's the thing. Your expansion and your travel have to be broad. There's big pockets of this and small pockets of this. You can stay in a small world and find beneficial comfort zones and find things that's negative that don't mean nothing to an outer layer. You see what I'm saying? And for the most part, when you have to know for yourself in this different form of communication. Is it just relatable in sync to you, or is it some relatable in sync in general? And you could just apply that action to you, and you will start to see, even in your subjective situations, you apply an outer lens of relatable and synchronizing energy. It might be situations that you have to play that out that ain't even in relatability or synchronizing energy to your own bias. And it is you separating from something or sacrifice. Y'all call it words like sacrifice. But really your spirit is saying you got a hold of something or attached to something you don't need for your travel that you are on to reach a more holy water. So that's the first key. That's a key right there. Anytime you can find something sync and relatable, then you have to judge for yourself. Is it the energy itself, or is it your bias that you want from it? And you have to decipher which one is more important. And you're going to see the one that's more important is the one that's outside of you, because you needed that piece for you to be here as an individual in the first place. So you have to be relatable to it, not it having to be relatable to you. Even if we use, in lack for better terms, the term relatable itself. You see what I'm saying? This is how you get spiritual. These are essence you're made out of, not to abuse. You use things, you don't misuse it. When you misuse it, it turns into rotten fruit. When you use it the right way, you see the benefits. So it becomes self-service in a way. In reality, it looks like you're self-serving, just like everybody else. You just don't have to look over your shoulder the way you do it. You know what I'm saying? You just don't have to save face and how many times other people have to do it. You get grace more than other individuals when you make a mistake. You see what I'm saying? It play out like that. You have to see how these things play out in other areas in your life before you get secluded in expectations and think it's only supposed to play out in specific ways via people, places, and things. And then that's getting lost into the detail. Then you become your own devil, your own mirror. Then you start projecting on everybody else. But really, you just in a world amongst everybody else who just like you just coming across a lot of people who make it do it better. You know what I'm saying? So here's where that jealous God seed come from. So once you understand, look, let's just make it simple. If you drink the wrong way, it's going to go down the wrong pipe. So you're already doing this naturally. There's an outside way of being relatable in sync that you got to pluck from for your own individually. It don't work for you. You can't be like, well, why God ain't say I could drink through my asshole? So I want to try to drink. You ain't going to never get dehydrated. You ain't going to never get hydrated. You never get hydrated. There's an external instinct and relatability of it being done that an alligator have to participate with, fish got to participate with, human got to participate with, your monkey ass got to participate with, right? So you take from the relatable and synchronizing energy and you do it the best way that you can. Or you will drown, or you will swallow something and it'll go down the wrong pipe. Pause, no homo. You see what I'm saying? But for the most part, you put yourself in a situation, and that one was called for it, because y'all know I don't ever use that. That one was called for it. You know, a lot of y'all. But for the most part, so it ain't you saying, well, this is what's relatable and sync with me. I want to drink water through my shoulder blade. Test that. Go ahead, do that unnatural stuff, and then come back and tell me how that worked for you. You know, you might be in that degenerate. Somebody might watch you become a handler and give you 1 million views just because you're a degenerate too, and then they start flying you everywhere and stuff. All kinds of, you be the next Joe Osteen about, hey, I'm trying to figure out how to drink water through my left arm cap or whatever the case. Y'all said some degenerate stuff though, but see how hard it take when it could have just been simple. You could have just went on, got a cup. You could have just did that. It was like you could have just did what God did. But you don't want to do what God did. You want to make things hard and stuff. Now you got to eat, fucking, and sleeping and drinking problems. You know what I'm saying? See, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to make, I don't know how hard how deep out. It's like ain't no words in the encyclopedia I have to do. I can't pull from it. Because y'all still be thinking things pseudo or whatever. I can't make it more simple. It's just that simple though. It's a relatability and synchronizing energy outside of you that you pluck from, and you better do the best way you can. Not the other way around where it's there. I was already born. Old McDonald had a farm. I'm 18 years old. I got lost in Luciferia 666, and I'm gonna make the whole world drink water through their asshole. Nah, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Blocking out the sun. No, that ain't gonna work. These are wrong ideas about things. We have to get back to life so we can understand what the hell is going on. So that's the first key. If you want to know how to communicate with something outside of you, that's the natural device. The natural device is getting out of the devices you just created, the mind and the body organ, and then doing that same attribute. As you expand out of that, you create another external awareness. That's a mind state, then an internal. By default, you be inside of it. Now you get ready to add that new bubble you inside to the bubbles you just created that's already running in the silver and tether cord to condense and become your organ. Now you add new layering systems to the one you currently did. That's expansion, not organ implosion. Your mind that you already created to make these organs and, let me think how I can think. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let me think Power Warrior. Let me create super conveniences and stuff like that. That's a hit. Let me create cult systems that this mind state is always going to bend in and become an organ. Even if this mind state is rotten, and every time the spiritual root race come back in, the organs be rotten and small dick and stuff like that. Then small groups and stuff. That's not the thing. Got nothing to do with it. There ain't no angels on earth telling me that's what it's real. No, it's about this money. It's about George Washington. That's all right. All right, cool. George Washington had a little dick to better than that. They had to create long knives. Long knives to the coat. The coat. Now it's a coping mechanism. Better than that. It's so many ways you can pull out pluckets of life and re-innovate it that it play out in our everyday life, even if we're talking about things that you don't think or consider play out in our everyday life. But you can't debunk it though. You can't debunk it though. You know what I'm saying? You're going to talk a lot and lie a lot. Something going to happen to your throat, and you're going to walk around like you somebody you ain't, and you're going to start having feet problems, no matter if you got your size shoes on or not, or whatever like that. You know, you're going to have my feet hurt energy. That's just inevitable. Because your spirit is in these chakras that made the organs in these areas that you already did. You're supposed to be making something new, make a new ladder or whatever the case may be. And God ain't tell us to be lions again in the 4th grade if you're another type of lion in the 10th grade. You know what I'm saying? All right, you already did that in the 4th grade. It ain't for you to take the 10th grade stuff, go back to the 4th grade and be like, I want to control the 4th grade for the rest of existence and stuff like that. No, you going to hell in your own 4th grade once you die for your own existence. And that everybody always did that. There ain't no such thing as just a group of people on earth as a team coming up with their retardation about heaven and hell and stuff like that. They all probably get ready to go to hell too as an individual. This ain't got nothing to do with nothing. This happens every day. Y'all be talking about heaven and hell and stuff like this some 2,000 years ago stuff, and only they did it, and only they experienced it or something like that. No, they just had different ideas and different words and languages for the same shit you're doing right now. You be lost in the mind or you can expand. The end. If you're doing the same thing for over 100 years and you ain't the same thing, because we all spirits, But you're supposed to be doing it like today, same day, different shit, same day. So if you're the same spirit, you're supposed to be doing new mentalities and new organs, already adding on to what you already did. Not, oh, I'm stuck in the pocket, I don't know what I'm doing, and I got to make sure this sustain itself, and I ain't gonna never do nothing new because I don't know what else will happen. All right, these are creatures and bugs and bacteria going into the unknown. Some unknown ugly creature. It don't be nothing. It don't be nothing you know and you craft it. I like to know and I like to craft. I know I'm making organs. I know I'm making beautiful shit and beauty paths and things of that nature. And Keskis, Pilisepis, and all this motherfucking shit. Yo, welcome to Kukuski, Keski, Pilisepi, Mini Hoking, Ohio. This is Northwest Territory. You know what I'm saying? Everything included. Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, little parts of southern parts of Canada. That's only a couple hours away. Detroit, Illinois, Illinois. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. Mexico, the real Mexico. That's over there by Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? Indiana. You know what I'm saying? Then move over, and then if nobody beneath me is on my side, you on your own. Because if I stuck my feet from the north, everything in the south going to flood up under hurricanes and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. There's already a flood in Georgia, Sodom and Gomorrah. King George then infiltrated Georgia, you know what I'm saying, and made everything how people think in England. So how people think in England is whatever's going on in the South, Texas, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff. You know, that's more Spangler, man. But yeah, you know what I'm saying, you just got to know when we're putting things in a container, you're only communicating with something that share your spiritual root race mentality that constructed and condensed and became an organ. So as a spirit, you make conduits, right? That become mental forms, masculine. Then it needs a consort that condense and become physical and fluid, gas, liquid, fluid concepts from the imminence of it that in its early stages before it become gassy, the mustard seed stages, you know, that's the conduit. Then you need the consort, and then your spirit has a connection system. It has a plug and a plug-in. It has a conduit, plug, and it has a plug-in, a consort. And a consort is all physical representations that your mind charge up. And the plug is the conduit, your mind. You know what I'm saying? Your mind is condensing. It's just really a mechanism. We're really trying to separate, but it's really connected. It's a transition. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fire, water, air, earth. You know what I'm saying? And then it makes what we call energy, gas, liquid, solids, the physical representation of energy. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, the energy is this awareness. And awareness is emanation. And emanation is just what we're calling fire, water, air, and earth. But it's really 1, 2, 3, 4. You have spark, fire, 1. Accumulation of sparks, that's 2, water. The transition and the transformations or transportations or traveling of it just in that spot, whatever, that's the 3, that's the air, that's the wind. Then the consoling, it being in a sweet spot, just being more expanded, not so condensed, so it's able to have a surrounder, circumference, the mass, volume, velocity, and mass before it's even physical. That's the 4th, that's the earth, that's the being sure, convinced, conviction, something to stand on. We're not talking about something physically though. So anytime you comprehend something or constitute something or construct something or make sense out of something, you're in the 4th aspect of something. You're only making sense out of the first transition, fire, the vision itself. Then multiple visions is for you to understand it. You're reacting to the frequency becoming a vibration, a wave, the picture becoming a motion picture. So now you're being receptive and reacting to multiple flashes, multiple visions. This become the emotion, this become the vibe, this become the movement of it. Now, then the movement of it itself simultaneously has a transition, has a transportation, has a image here, image there. That's the air. Then it's formation by you making sense out of it. That's the 4th, that's the earth. So for the most part, when you could constitute that, you understand that's one process that you create, and that itself is a conduit. And then once it in the stages that you can use it as a form, it's a consort. And now you can express that in the world as a frequency vibration, but it becomes your energy, and your energy is a substance that other people could take and add to theirs and emanate it. And then let's say you're trying to teach somebody how to dance spiritually, you did that, it made you move a certain way, that mind bend in and become an adrenaline, and you moved a certain way, and now you want to call it dancing. Someone else may not know how to do it. You take them to that spiritual space, they take a piece of that energy, and then they move in that similar way physically, and now they got similar movements, and now they can say they could kind of dance. You see what I'm saying? Spiritually dance like that, for lack of better words. So that's how you make sense out of it. What we're already doing. You're doing it. The things y'all over exaggerate, you're doing it. So you have to realize once you start over exaggerating, that's what you're doing. So let's say you want to talk about dancing. I just described how to. That's a real teacher, to teach a teacher. Now let's say you a person who like to study others. Oh, this person know how to teach about dancing. You had a wrong starting point. Then you have to make up a job around that, or whatever the case may be. Because now, here's the thing. You're going to over exaggerate what the person thought to come up with dancing, and they just thought to dance. You can't dance, but you about to come up with how you're special because you Robert Greene wrote down something real good about somebody dancing, and then you have to be a world around a whole bunch of other people with small dicks and figure out other ways how to make games you only can win in to make it seem like you special. But other than that, you're over exaggerating what you're doing. You're just someone who likes to be a pervert. You just like to study someone else who came up with a thought, who know how to dance. Your thought was, I need to come up with a thought that study other people's thoughts, that in this example, who dance. So that's your expertise. You're not talented. You actually lack something. You actually have to be in a position where you develop a mind, have something, then you can teach it, then it could be a curriculum. There is no such thing as I study others and this is a curriculum. There is no such thing as that. Because the person who know how to do it always could teach a person how to put on rims better. Do I got to make it any simple? I mean, you could teach somebody, you could teach about, yeah, this person knew how to put on the greatest rims in history and stuff like that. You know, even if they was your damn ancestor, you the descendant, so you think that was a free way to make money off of it, shit like that. But when I need my rims put on, I ain't calling you. And I ain't buying your book. I'm going to call the homie cheese you writing about. And if he dead, I'm going to call his descendants. And you don't get to say you somebody special because you written about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, like, we got to get out of these energies. We got to start taking pride in ourselves. Because that's where all these energies came from. People taking pride in themselves and get out of that pride and ego energy, because they're all being synthetic versions that come from games that people have made only they can win in. It don't mean you got a talent. Unless that's your talent. Oh, I can make a game only I can win in. All right, teach that though. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how we get people being able to sue other people for people creating intellectual property, but somebody else created a platform that they can take off of it. So it's like kind of like Grand Theft Auto. They go ahead and take somebody else's intellectual property, stealing cars and stuff like that, and actually going to jail for it, make a video game about it, and sue anybody who actually suffering from family members being in jail from actually doing that. You know what I'm saying? So if that's the case, it shouldn't be made no $1 million off of. Or if somebody gonna make $1 million off of it, you make sure you go reach out to anybody family that suffer from that, and for the sake of your riches. You know what I'm saying? You make sure they have a little pension out of your money, or because you wouldn't have had no idea to go ahead and take that intellectual property and then create some court system only you can win in, and say we allowed to do this because it's creative rights. It's creative rights to be, if you to be a pervert. We got a lot of Pee Wee Hermans and Hitlers and stuff. I said that ain't no excuse to be a degenerate. Real shit. Give people they shit. Give people their credit. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Yeah. Christopher Columbus, give me my credit. Oh, I'm feeling that. You ain't take shit. No, I'm saying real shit. You ain't even come to America. You ended up somewhere else, and then started doing psyop on South America. So they went over here. I was saying, so that's a made up thing. Y'all got lost in the wrong God. The God that came over here was the George Washington one, and a Britain called a Mary man. That came, and so the ruler of America is Ohio. Y'all ain't never know that though. Ohio had the most Native Americans kicking ass and selling the most shit. The best hustlers in existence. The best hustlers in existence. Native Americans in Ohio. You ain't no such thing as masonry without no Native Americans in Ohio. There ain't no such thing as hustling without no Native Americans in Ohio. There ain't no such thing as fortitude. There ain't no such thing as no president even saying put up a wall without no Native Americans in Ohio. You better believe it. Better be out of the nation. You better believe Hopewell, Fortitude cities and states. That's Ohio creation. The house you in right now, Ohio Native Americans. And it's the same shit, bitch. It's just people taking credit. You know what I'm saying? That's all that is. People taking credit. It ain't, a lot of things ain't even changed. It's just the same way. There's a lot of streets and hills put cement over the Indian mouths, and a lot of funerals. Cemeteries that colonists was over here saying, no, this is all, no, we the regular people over here. We didn't start burying themselves on top of us. So that's all y'all. I can take it. I got like 1,000 videos in the Hopewell Mound, Oak Hill Mound. And things, these cats to start burying themselves on top of us and stuff like that. Like that's why I'm always doing videos in there. I'm like, why y'all burying yourselves on top of me? Like, stop. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're like, it was at a time, it was a bunch of different stuff going on, like Raisin and the Sun doing when you all come together and stuff. Like big old creatures and animals that come up out the ground and stuff like that. A whole little like that's why y'all think that, like the snake mouths and stuff like that. Those actual creatures. Them ain't not, it wasn't just no goddamn stuff coming out the ground and stuff like that. We start conjuring up shit like that, man. Real stuff come up out the real shit come out the sky and the ground. I'm saying y'all don't know nothing about y'all never get no technology create the hurricanes and the goddamn earthquakes we created just in the spirit. And y'all, you would never get an earthquake like that. You know what I'm saying? They had to, they ain't had no other explanation. They had to like separate us, mix all us up and shit like that, and steal our language and shit. And they be trying to practice it themselves. They still can't do it. They like, why we can't all do no Catholic stuff and where's the hurricane? Where's the earthquake? These guys don't know how to do it. These guys don't know how to do it. Why we ain't making the water move? We really did that. I'll show y'all how I can do that right now. It'll take about 2 or 3 of us. But really, it take one. And y'all can see me do that in the in my videos and stuff. In the sun, I put the alignments out and stuff. So this thing about if it's a good 300 of us and stuff like that. And in the colonist mind, that was detriment. Okay, do that. So that's why y'all don't be seeing that in today's time. And y'all get this little weak powwow stuff. We ain't had no powwows. That's some fake stuff that came later on. They got too colorful and stuff. We didn't even have all them colors and stuff like that to be that bright. For real, a lot of times we had red. Red, that was the first aspect that so everything was red. So that's where the game blood came from and stuff like that. But y'all gotta understand, it's way deeper than what y'all understand. Y'all playing out a whole bunch of games, all y'all dances and all that type of stuff. Y'all don't know how to do it for real. That's why y'all ain't real hustlers. That's why when you go to, and this is another thing too, online right now, this is cities and states, online cities and states. So you got to be a ruler of your city and state. A lot of y'all cities and states be complaining. Y'all got complaining cities and states. Sometimes I stumble across, y'all be in my algorithm. I'll just fly over there and fly to y'all city and state for a few seconds, then I'll leave. Everybody always protesting, crying and shit like that, and crying for respiration, shit. Like, do y'all build yourselves? Man, build your shit up. Say y'all ain't built y'all city up and stuff like y'all crying and stuff like that. Y'all see my city get invaded. I'm always getting invaded and stuff like that. You be kicking ass. Westward Movement on my page, straight Westward Movement Television. You know what I'm saying? Destroy Westward Movement Television. None of that shit slide on my page. Real, none of that robot technology, draws, all that. We already had that. We had that technology. We just in a new age, wild, wild west right now. Y'all still lost in the sauce. I gotta look at a lot of y'all like Buffalo Soldiers. I gotta start looking at a lot of y'all like Buck, because I be hearing a lot of y'all the way y'all be talking and stuff like that. Little Africans and stuff. Oh, these Buffalo Soldiers and stuff like. Oh, I see their allegiance. I see their city and state. They got a lot of white boys in their city and state anyway. You know what I'm saying? They be funny like, oh, scout. That's a scout. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful and stuff like that, because it'd be foreigners and stuff like that. It'd be these niggas. Y'all be thinking it'd be these white people and stuff. No, it don't, man. It'd be these niggas. I'm telling y'all right now, y'all think. I'm telling you. You're going to hear it in a rap song. You're going to see it in a movie as always. Now, here's the thing. You might get mad because who the director, who made the most money off of this stuff. But they got some, like, type of goddamn antenna extension plan that like, attached to a nigga real quick, and it'd be the nigga your first problem. It'd be the nigga, I think he a damn Pharaoh, Shokan, Genghis Khan, you know what I'm saying, Hebrew Israelite man. He'd be everything. He'd be a Maury, all superpower Shang Tsung and one. I don't know what white boy to be juicing them up with. I don't know. I be still trying to figure it out. I be like, what, these guys be juiced up? These guys, they superheroes. Oh, for that. Wakanda forever. Damn to me. Then in my algorithm pop up, I show speed and shit. I'm doing barking and doing it. I'm like, oh damn, they getting trained, they getting fed, they getting hormone shots. I'm like, yo, this is what I gotta deal with. Yo. Y'all got me out there praying again, making prayer cities. I'm making prayer cities again, bitch. My shit prayer cities. You don't come to my city if you don't know how to goddamn honor something. You know what I'm saying? Y'all mind be all lost in the sauce and stuff. You supposed to go somewhere, everybody, even in the morning, everybody on the sidewalk. It's a normal thing. We all just out there like this. They're on a big old line. Man, y'all phony. I'll say y'all calling the cops 24/7 on y'all neighbors. Y'all live a body degenerate neighbors. It ain't even like a platform for y'all to even get to no level like that wherever y'all are. Oh, y'all trying to survive. Y'all take it from each other when one person can't get it. Let one person can get a stick of butter. Cross the street person ain't gonna have it. Let one person can get a little bag of sugar or something. The people up the street ain't gonna have it. Either gonna talk about it, beg for it, or get your house broken into and shit like that. Gotta get new window sills. Oh, I'm saying real shit. Y'all ain't never in no other starting point. Like, it's like weird. Like, so it's like, God damn, y'all gotta get to that level though, like in some way, shape, or form. Christianity ain't helping us get there, though. We keep that 100, you know what I'm saying? Hebrew Israelism ain't helping us get there and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I wish these days was. I wish these days was in a better position for everybody and stuff that we could all be on an even playing field. And it'd be like the Great Plains, Great Lakes, Great Basins, and stuff like that, and everybody get hydrated spiritually. Because anytime you in some relatable and sync energy, that's what people be in search for. Think about things like even degenerate stuff. You want to go to the bars and stuff like that. All right, that's one thing. That's substantiated things. But your spirit is in search to be in an area that got a large percentage scale relatability. Synchronizing. Pardon me. You want to be in a position where you can feel a little free, and it's stupid that y'all have to create situations for that to happen. You're supposed to be like that naturally, to the point that even like if you like to dance and boogie, you do that even when no music is playing. Like, and it's contagious. It's almost like a yawn. But yawns, I explained that ain't really contagious. There's something going on. But you put something in the atmosphere, and it's contagious. Another person to pick it up, and it ain't even got nothing to do with dancing. They can't dance, but spiritually, the thought forms you emanating represent your spirit. You're a more adult, expanded spirit. So it play out as a form you're creating, sharing space with someone else, but it ain't condensed to make a person feel smothered. They feel more free around you. The feeling feel that they create is in a broader field, and you're creating a broader field. So you're creating horizons and sweet spots and creating summer and spring times and not making it too hot and condensed for this person to feel smothered and have to separate from you, from their little mind states that they're inside of as their first body. And then just your expression allows this spirit and everything that they inside of their esoteric hut, their mind state, they could start separating the things that they think will be judged in other situations and be like, oh, this ain't gonna be judged, this ain't gonna be seen, this ain't cared about. Now the spirit is more free to expand and add more emanations, more thoughts and feelings, to be more creative, to add more movements and stuff like that. And then when everybody is doing that, you're emanating more, you're expanding the universe. So, but it's like y'all too dry. Y'all ain't got no charismatic gifts. And who's ever even controlling online is making online dry. And then when people like me come on, that this is the type of energy when you're around family, friends, associates, and stuff like that, that even going through hard times and you're able to do this or whatever the case may be, there's science behind that and knowledge, and that bring things together. When you bring this online full of a bunch of damaged individuals who don't have that, no family circumstance, no culture, or whatever the case may be, they start self-projecting what they don't have, and the things that they already think is negative, they replace that with what they think other people may have. So I had a lot of people over the time try to say I'm in crack or drunk or whatever the case may be, but yet in every area where you at or whatever the case, there's an individual like me. So if you online over exaggerating on things that you're lost online pointing to, it's an example of you don't have a life and you ain't even around nobody. You ain't even got nobody to call like, oh, I can't wait till this family member come or this friend or this associate or whatever. And when you're already in that mix, and then let's say you get online and you present yourself, that's natural first. So when you get online and get a whole bunch of butthurt energy, and then you can see how online is, everybody is so dry. Like everybody is a bunch of nobodies. It's like people scared to be themselves or something, or y'all just lame or something. Y'all not nobody. Like y'all ain't any interesting people, and y'all like flooding it online with that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all try to make everything dry talking points. You're very uninteresting though. So everything is about, well, maybe I could make online a job, and then you have to copy people like me to do it, and I'm just natural. This ain't no job. So y'all it's like y'all lames as far as content creators and the way y'all making y'all content now, being led by feds too much. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're trying to control a narrative based upon, this is people online personal pages, and when we be ourselves, okay, you can't get mad because you don't have good character and whatever you're involved in based off bribery. There is no such thing as a lie without bribery. So you have to understand that. Like if I was around a lot of y'all people, personal family members and friends and stuff like that, and if let's say a lot of y'all who doing psyops on me, a lot of your family members will look at you like you out your mind. Like if I personally came around y'all and y'all family, friend, and associates and separated you from what you do and what you think you connected with online, and let's say you're doing a psyop on me, and let's say you just met me and I'm around your people and your family and friend, like you will be looked at as out of your fucking mind. The investment of hatred you did towards me, and that goes for all parties involved. You know what I'm saying? And that's just reality, regardless of what people may be lost in and being like, "Well, this is a job and we online and we doing this, so this cat and the third." But in all actuality, it just shows there's a lack of psychology being portrayed in these colleges or these schools or these militaries that's having people get jobs without having healthy mental qualities in some way, shape, or form. And then when you get online, everybody dry, and then they don't know how to do nothing else but be depressed and express them. So there's no self-development, and people don't have nothing that they already do and know themselves to present. So it's almost like, how can I be heard amongst a lot of strangers? So you're not interesting. You're trying to cling on to interesting things. Find something in the spiritual world on the broad interesting energy that you can use interesting qualities for yourself so you become interesting, right? And this is what makes us all be in a certain position. And this is what we're all trying to do in the first place. Is this when we don't know how to do it, we do the synthetic version of it, still trying to do the same thing and burn ourselves out and not actually be creative. So we end up getting lost in trends, lost in waves, lost in flights, not being a substantiated anchor when all these things fade away and you still remain. You see what I'm saying? And people like that only get hated on anyway. You know what I'm saying? But it's nothing else to cling on to after a while. So the person that's getting hated on become everybody rock and was right all along anyway. Because there's nothing else to pluck from but the creators. You can't pluck from nothing else but a creator. You ain't even making no technology or no camera without having somebody interested enough to see. Not going on nobody else's land without them doing something interesting enough to want to stay on it. You know what I'm saying? It's just not possible. So when we think about connecting with foreign entities, you cannot utilize devices on the backing end of input. It has to be an output source. And output is externalizing. And when you externalize from a previous mentality into another one, and spiritually, if you're in a broad and distant location, that is the only form of resonance of communication you can have. And you can only see it through your comprehension lens of these terms in the encyclopedia, what's relatable and what's in sync. Because you know those qualities play out even beyond your spiritual root race and shared organs like humans. You know that you can feed a bug, an animal, and a parasite, and it will be an agreeable energy. And you could do something harmful to it, and it'll be in a disagreeable energy, and vice versa. A bear can do something like get all the bees away from the bee nest for you. It's safe enough for you to get the honey, right? So that's something beneficial. But the bear can actually smack you upside your head off your shoulders and shit, dust you off, and then that's harmful. So we know that there's external ways that we are communicating with things beyond your species that's more in the pocket if you want to connect with anything outside of your ego, just because you know how to do it with things that you quote unquote think you're higher evolved in, right? What make you think that same communication pocket don't play out with something you may not be more evolved in? You're not going to be able to, it's small on a percentage scale of a device input, because if you could connect more with something you think you're more involved in, more naturally how I explained it. But if you created a device, it's harder for them to understand it. And then it's really for you to have to really teach it to another human also. But they can still understand it. That's smaller on a percentage scale than you connected with something that you're more evolved in with a natural communication. So you will have to separate that whole ideology as a starting point to communicate with something greater than you that don't share your organ and mentality also. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more in the pocket that you could communicate with external things beyond a human with other technologies that don't take input devices. So that must be more of the pocket family of how you would connect with something that you're not more evolved in. So what would make you think the thing that you are as a human and a device that you make, what would make you think that something more evolved will understand it if you're more evolved and you don't even understand a bee technology? You still don't understand what bees is actually doing. You just get the honey after it. You know what I'm saying? So anything outside of you probably wouldn't even know what you're doing, even if it's more intelligent. But comprehension is more of our intelligence. So it could comprehend why you're doing something, the mannerism, right? So for an example, you might be thinking you're creating a technology, but in your mind, you're seeing a dog in the trash. Your technology might be to a higher being that's evolved in you as you being in a trash at the moment. Here's the thing. You looking at that as a technology. The being might not know your technology because it's a different species, but it's still going to have comprehension. You're in the trash because you're hungry. So it's going to know you're making technology because of whatever convenience you're in. You see what I'm saying? It don't, y'all over exaggerate intelligence because y'all in some type of colonist starting point of things that work for your self-serving energy and challenging other cultures to benefit some monetary gain. And then when a lot of colonists went through things of not knowing how it happened, and the only explanation is, well, maybe Tecumseh stumped his feet. That's the only thing I heard about it, or whatever the case may be, for the whole Mississippi River to go backwards or whatever. But at the same time, if they don't know no other explanation, but yet find things in nature could disprove that, you stay in limbo. So it's almost like, well, we can make a folklore and make money off this, but we can actually figure out technology ways to do this and make other people believe it. But at the same time, figure out just still don't need a real way of this happening. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of the three limbo a lot of descendants of the colonists in right now, where it's like sarcasm, but utilizing it because there may be some truth to it. So it's like, okay, people was doing something, but there's things in nature that I could debunk it, but maybe I could create technology and make people believe I'm doing that. So here's where you get hurricanes and this fake tornadoes from if you're close to a water line. Because if Native Americans was actually doing shit to make the sailors go the other way at times and stuff like that, and then any sailor who came over here and got into a good relationship, the only explanation the native said was, oh, Yehovah and all this stupid, you know what I'm saying? All this type of stuff, right? Then that's one thing. Then you see another thing where you see these things naturally occur without nobody talking spooky. Then you see another way of how you can manipulate it and do it for yourself. You got Freemasonry. You know what I'm saying? You got the CIA being, you got the updated CIA being created in 1942. If you want to make it simple. I just want to make things simple. I love everybody. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is about intellect. We're rising up in intellect, and we're at most DAPs. Everybody should want to be this. Everybody should want to get into this because we're coming up with new circumstances and foundations and stuff like that. But at the same time, just let you know, the real technology is how we even made this. So this is making us the real sons. All of us. We're all the real sons. We're all the real suns and moons. Right? So you're a piece. Your thought is a piece of the sun and atmosphere, and your body is a piece, your own individual piece of the environment. Teamwork makes the dream work. All of our minds together, that hot pocket the sun. All of our spiritual spaces together, making that eminences. So our first minds is the awareness, the wind body. When we collect it all powers combined and crush in and collect the same way we doing with ourselves, condense and play out externally outside of us with all of our piece of it. So we get to see the external representation of what we are doing internally, subjectively. So it's always going to be simultaneous. Internal, external. Dot, triangle, square, circle. Expansion, contraction. Distance, closeness. And all we're doing is making the DNA substance of more formation of that. And when we jump in these forms, we're experiencing the mechanisms happening. So as we emanate, we jump into these things, collecting, and we just think that something going to the right, as spiritually we emanate, technically going to the left. So everything we create is like an emanation that forces us to see it like it's left, as it collect and condense, that forces us to see it that is going to the right. That once it implode, it forces us to think that something going down from its lighter stage, that forces us to think something was up. You get what I'm saying? But we're in our own first body, mind, and then when our minds connect, that's the first sex. Teamwork makes the dream work. We're creating a world we all can use our own mind and be inside of a mind and body and experience it. And we keep making more expansion. So that's us expanding the universe. So the previous thing we created that was smaller, and we expand out of that mind, and it condensed as an organ. We was inside of it. We expand out of it. It goes into the flesh. The atmosphere becomes substance if it's relatable and synchronizing for new mind states to be created to add another one. So that previous thing becomes something like a stepping stool, and the next layering becomes something that's first shall be last, last shall be first. The last thing is the newest thing, like your mind chakra, crown chakra. Then the first thing that was created is the last, like the root chakra, the more thing that you rooted in. So one is childish, one is like more of an adult from a physical nature of it. So so when you was probably just a heart, now you made a lungs. Now you a lung and a heart. Now when that lung and heart die, and the mentality that made the mental mathematics to condense in that, you expand it. Now you made something else, a brain. And now for the most part, this brain, you got the same size as the previous experiences. So it's just the ability, not you getting trapped in the mind. And then now you're trapped in that mind and that body don't even work no more. And that's hell. Then your mind is stuck in the macro perspective of it. And you really just floating around in emanations of how you made the organs. So you really is in your body, but it's really not like that. You know what I'm saying? So you just stuck in the body, your mind body that made those organs because you did too much organ implosion. But this is how we're doing everything from bacteria and stuff. And then for mamanotoics, you know what I'm saying? The sons and the daughters. So as you expand out of that, now you got the brain and you still able to make a different version of a heart and a lung that could constitute with that new brain. And remind you, teamwork makes the dream work. The atmosphere condensing and becoming a wind in the earth and stuff is the same thing we're doing as what we're making as a team, as one. As an individual, right? Now you got a brain, heart, and lung. Then you do that. Now you're a different creature. Now you die from that, coming back for 300 years thing and expanding that, all the intelligence, all the mistakes, coming back saying this what to do, this what not to do. I was here in the mind, and this is how we're supposed to do the mind. And eventually we start to realize, oh, this is how we're making new organs through evolution, creation, mutation, evolution. When you know how to keep track, and you've been on a continent, and you're the indigenous people of the actual continent, so you never left the holy knowledge. And then for the most part, you got to teach everybody. You always have to come back and tell everybody we're making a new organ, but it's just you coming with new thoughts that piggyback or add on to the previous thoughts we're already doing that make it more relatable and in sync when it start to get overused or imploded or toxic or rotten fruit, mentally, psalms, physically, songs. And then for the most part, boom, then we go beyond that. Now, then once we do that, this is how you evolve it. And then spirits that get aware after you, they're already in that mental substance and physical substance, but they have their own version of it. So they do a version of it. So there's something like it. So then now we're having different kinds, monkeys and stuff like that. So because that's what y'all have to understand. Y'all get lost in white man so much, you start thinking you come from monkeys or monkey got a common ancestor. But if something lack knowledge, right, the thing that's more comprehended is the more evolved one. So that's the wrong starting point. It's not you coming from monkey or you sharing a common ancestor. It's whatever a monkey is came from you and got a common ancestor of you. You was evolving longer than a monkey. Monkeys don't have comprehensions like humans. So how is a human coming from a common ancestor of a monkey, but somehow the human evolved faster? So you got to show me why ain't no monkeys evolving into humans then. And then you're going to have to say, well, that ain't the argument. The argument is it's a shared common ancestor. Where is the shared common ancestor that's more evolved than the human? Because if humans doing things to still be what they are, monkeys doing things to still be what they are, that evolved common ancestor should still be able to do things what they are, and you should be able to have a picture like a grandmother or something like that. Same way monkeys you got pictures of monkeys. So what are you talking about? They should be able to talk better language than you at this point and everything. You would just be a monkey version of them. Just like a monkey is a monkey version of you. So y'all lost an Animal Safari channel first. Y'all lost in the flesh first. Your spirit had to construct a better mind body that became this organ based upon creation, mutation, evolution, longer than the spiritual root race of monkeys. And monkeys was the spiritual root race that became aware after whatever spiritual root race you attached to be a human, for them to have that type of structure, but lack comprehension. So that mean it come after. That don't mean it's first, and that don't mean y'all from a common ancestor. That's dumb. Because if that's the case, everybody got a common ancestor. Because everybody got a heart or a brain or some form of an organ. So whatever spiritual spaces, ancestors make organs, we all come from that. So that ain't the thing. The thing is, that's life. The mind condensed and become an organ. So the spirit is aware of emanation. So you become aware of your first self, your mind, and then that condense and become more experiences. And then by default, we're doing that with others. You ain't just the only space in the world. So obviously, this is where subjectivity coming from and objectivity coming from. And then once we doing with ourselves combined with someone else, we have a realm of reality. So we're only connected, and the best way we do it is based upon relatability and in sync. And I love all of y'all from the bottom of my heart. Flight boss, bitch, you know. For sure. You know, I listen to the Mind of Military's Move. I am the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And I tell you, China, Africa, Ghanaidia, Egypt, this is New Worldiah. There will never, ever be a higher form of lecture, intellect, comprehension that can be formed in and put into thousands of businesses if you ain't in America, bitch. Take pride in ourselves. And I love y'all. Rataswa, hell hold that y'all who Massasoit, and we all mama Natoics. You better motherfucker believe, or y'all better be. We got most the APs. Raise your comprehension.